Golf's no different from hockey. Requires talent, self-discipline.
Golf requires goofy pants and a fat ass. You should talk to my neighbor, the accountant, probably a great golfer, huge ass.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
It's a very, very special honor.
I'm Paula Creamer, and you're listening.
Well, we're waiting.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, a.k.a. John Kreese from Cobra Kai, and you're listening to
Quiet, Please.
Let the word go out from here across the land. Let Daddy Noonan approve.
Hi, boys. Nice day for golf, ain't it? Quiet, please. Oh, you got secrets, eh?
Hey, this is Shooter McGavin. You're listening to the...
Hey, you guys. Hey, we're trying to have a podcast over here.
Indeed, we are. Welcome back, golf fans. On today's episode, we're diving straight into the Genesis Invitational. One of my personal up-and-coming young stars, Ludwig, getting it done, made waves with his performance and his first PGA Tour victory. Is this the breakthrough? One of his since his rookie debut, he's been being impressive. I'm joined, as always, by our illustrious panel. To my lower left, PGA golf professional, author, instructor, just all-around good dude, Brendan Elliott.
Good evening.
Good evening. And to my lower right, Reimagine Golf's Boston Bob Baldessari.
Reporting live from Kentucky with my microphone that does not work.
It's pretty, though.
It looks really pretty. Look how
you know
they
what?
can do different lights. I can do a light show here.
I love it. I love it.
Not even the lights aren't working.
Hey, and boys, we have the prettiest podcasters edition, the old and the young. Christian DeZamus and Andy Heidorn together in Houston.
Together.
Whoa.
I don't even want to know what's going on tonight down there.
Hey, this is the first time we've met face to face.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
We're going to record the show. We're going to go have a little dinner and
have a beverage. Maybe have a beverage or two.
We're having one now. We would have played golf if it wasn't 31 degrees here.
But that's a good reason to move. Hey, Texas is a great place in the winter to have the PGA headquarters. That's all I'm saying. Just throwing that on.
That's a great
throwing that bait on the water. Hey, if you're listening, if you're catching the show live, obviously, then please comments. We love to have comments. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, any of those. We'll try to respond to those throughout the episode here. If you're listening on our podcast, give us a little like, a little subscribe. We'd appreciate any kind of feedback we could get. And let's break down the key elements here, boys. Genesis. BE, to you first.
I love Torrey Pines. I wasn't a big Torrey Pines guy previous to this, and I don't know why, but it's just a beast. And I think it was great that obviously the situation why it was being held there is tragic, but that venue is insanely good. And it always goes back to what Andy says. Events and venues.
Yeah, I mean, I love the venue there too. It's just a shame we got to miss Riviera this year, though.
Yeah.
I personally like number 10 at Riviera. It's short.
But driver six iron.
Driver 6 iron for AD. Hey, Bobby. Final round, stacked leaderboard. Disappointed for Rogers. I mean, without question. But I mean, he had the world chasing him. So,
yeah, is it the cliche? You got to learn how to lose before you win, type of thing. I mean, that guy's got a great swing, great talent. You know, it was a pretty exciting event. I mean, you had some history made with Tony Finau, 3 chip-ins. Which I think was a first in that regard, or forever it's been, or whatever. So, yeah, actually, BE, you stole my comment to Andy about events and venues, and back to something like Torrey Pines. The finishing holes are always pretty exciting. The vistas are beautiful, but that place is that's a beast for sure. But it was Yeah, it was pretty exciting coming down the end. I mean, it was nice to see Ludwig bring it out after he got sick back there a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. How about that round by McNeely? That was awesome.
Yeah.
Christian, ball striking, never a question. Steps up, stripes it. Just similar to yourself, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, his ball striking is obviously way better than mine. I'll never have ball striking like his, but I think it was just an incredible performance by him on Sunday. And it's going to be first of many wins for his young career, in my opinion, as well. He has the talent. He has the right mindset. He has the game to do it. I think Torrey Pines is one of the best tracks, in my opinion, in the country. So I love watching that golf course when it's on television. So I think it was just awesome performance by him. And I know with the majors coming up around the corner, I wouldn't even be surprised if Ludwig is going to be contending in a couple of them this year.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. Sitting to your left, Andy, he's not only, to Christian's point, he's not only a bomber, he's got a little silky smooth short game. I mean, has this kid really got all the tools? Am I dumping too much pressure on him already?
Well, I've actually heard, I forget who said it, but they were talking about the tour players, and if you look at Scotty and Ludwig, maybe they threw Rory in there too. They're like, when you look at those 2 or 3 guys, whatever the argument was, they stand out above the rest. They're just that much better, and just the eye test tells you, exactly that sky's the limit for Åberg.
B, does he contend at Augusta?
Well, I've become big on stats the last couple of weeks with the regular columns I write for
nice.
RT. And I'm looking at his stats from the week here. If he can do what he did this week, where he was, let's see, approach, he was 4th in strokes gained, but around the green, he was 15th. Putting, he's 18th. When you can strike the ball as well as he does, he was 4th in putts per greens in regulation. Scrambling, he was 5th. If your short game's sharp, that's going to be the key at Augusta, as we all know. So you combine the ball striking with the ability to get up and down when you do miss a green and make putts when you do hit the green. Yeah, he's going to contend, definitely.
You know what I like about his game? When he goes up to hit it, there's this, I guess I talk to people about this a lot. There's sort of a perfect little athletic movement into the shot. Like, he's not over the ball, not static, not 52 waggles. He just sort of gets in there, has this beautiful kind of athletic something or other, and then hits it. He coupled that with, I think he's got a tremendous above, between the ears. I think he's got a nice blend of, he cares, he's a competitor, but at times it's like, hey, I'm just out here playing golf. I think he's got both sides of it.
Appears really, really patient in everything he does. I mean, just steps up, and as you said, Bobby, he plays like someone older than, but they all do nowadays, don't they, Andy? All the young guys are. I mean, they're so conditioned.
One of the things that I was saying this weekend, we were sitting at the club watching the end of the tournament, and he's standing over like a 7-footer to win. They never miss those anymore.
Yeah.
Like, never. Like 30 years ago, like, they missed those way more often than they made them, just because it was the pressure, whatever it was. It just seems like now, anytime someone has that opportunity, they're making the putt. Like, it's incredible.
You mean like Wyndham at the TGL, which we'll talk about it coming up momentarily, a little 7-footer.
All that stuff, yeah.
So, B, looking ahead to this week, thoughts?
I like Akshay. I think he sits well. Steven Yeager sits pretty well. I do want to see Jake Knapp kind of get back on track. He's been a little bit off this week. Actually, he did play well at the Genesis. think he finished at like 3 under or something, which was good enough for top 30. So I'd like to see him defend. That would be a cool story to see him get back up there.
Bobby?
Yeah, I haven't really looked too much. I know that course down there in Mexico is wicked long. So, that plays into it as far as being able to hit it. I think, the average shot in there is probably mid-iron or something. It's unusual for some of the tour players. But I wanted to just go back one thing to what Andy said a few seconds ago. And I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but just looking at the chain of events, the dominoes, the evolution of junior golf from the it wasn't around really in 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, but when it started, and then it was more kids playing golf, and then the instruction got better, then the equipment got better, then the tournaments got better, and this evolution of kids through the AJGA, and then playing in better college tournaments, and just the whole competition thing gets so much better that years ago, what was the deal? Oh, when you made it on tour, you didn't win till your 30s. And it was like you had to wait around, and those days are so far gone because these kids are coming on a tour and they literally know how to win quicker, better, faster. And I think they get under the gun a lot more often. That there's just something there that this whole evolution of quote unquote junior golf has had a phenomenal effect on the tour to get on, win, and then make those 7-foot putts to win it.
They're so much more prepared now than they ever were. It's not even close.
I mean, mind, body, clubs, you name it.
Yep, all of it.
Christian, anything to add?
Well, I'm excited for this week. I agree with everything that the guys have just said. Obviously, I think the game has just changed, and I think it starts obviously in junior golf, and then it works up to the collegiate level. And I think even at the collegiate level, you have so many tools to get your game to that next step, right? The Korn Ferry Tour is stacked with talent. We already know the PGA is stacked with talent, right? So it just goes to show you how difficult it is to win on a consistent basis. And it really puts like a perspective, like how good of a season that like Scotty had last year, right? As an example, the way that he dominated the entire season, it was just something unmatched because you don't really see that much anymore, right? Especially in a really since like Tiger back in like 2013 when he had 5 wins or 6 wins. It was like, it just kind of puts it in perspective for me of like, damn, this guy's like phenomenal, obviously at golf, but he has just taken it to a whole nother level.
Without question.
It's funny. I think it's about something that Scotty said that he was a little off. He finished 3rd, a little off. God.
He is still by far the best player in the world. It's not even a comparison. When he is on his game, I don't care who's playing against him. It's not going to be Kevin Kisner, I can tell you that.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, kids. If you're listening to this, I love you, but like, you got to hang him up, dude.
I didn't even get to play the transition music at all.
Sorry. I saw the opening and I took it.
You did. So what's going on with TGL? More importantly, Tiger said what? I'm driving and you guys are watching this last night, and I'm like trying to eyeball my phone while Brendan's sending pics of like caricatures of Tiger Woods, and I mean,
like in 30 seconds he threw that together.
Yeah. I
love it.
He is a graphic artist. All right, go for it. I didn't get that much of it. You guys,
I'm gonna lead off on this one. So
please do.
Like, you're sitting there playing a 481-yard par 4. Okay. There's a drive out there that's hit pretty well, and you know how far your drives go. You're not 99 yards from the green. You know, like I don't even begin to understand. I get that the visual, but the visual isn't there, and you know, you're not seeing a real life visual. But just do a little bit of subtraction in your mind and understanding that if I hit a good drive, I'm going to have about 200 in. How he ever thought he had 99. And we kid about that all the time on the golf course. We're like, all right, what's this one? it's 86. Well, it's 186, right? I mean, you do that all the time. You say the last two numbers. It blows my mind that he could have done that.
BE, it was a hell of a layup.
It's a phenomenal layup. It was a funny thing, and I love how he reacted to it. Initially, you could tell he was a little pissed, but then he kind of took everything in stride. But on a serious note, the guy's been through a lot the last 2 weeks, losing his mom, and I don't think his head was totally in the game, and that's probably why, even for one of the greatest players of all time, had a miscue like that.
Christian, is BE cutting Tiger some slack because that's his boy? I mean,
yes
seriously.
No, I actually tend to agree more with Andy on that one because.
All right, Bobby, I don't want your opinion. Bobby, is he cutting? No, go ahead, Christian.
No, I was just gonna say, like what Andy said. It's like you're the longest hitter in say the world, longest drive. You hit it 300 something yards or whatever it is. You're still not gonna have 100 yards in on that hole, right? Like, I don't know what his mindset was on that. I have to give him a slight bit of slack for obviously, what he's been through. It's been awful for him the last 2 weeks, right? And I wish that upon nobody. But
okay, can we also throw a little blame on Tom Kim and Kisner as they're standing there looking at him with a wedge in his hand?
Yeah, call a timeout.
Yeah, like come on.
And Kisner has no right to say anything or laugh at anything.
He might be the E player in this group.
Well, he likes number 10 at Riviera also.
Yeah, but he hits an 8-iron in.
Well, okay. Bobby, thoughts?
He could be the
Yeah, well, I think the average golfer has got to feel better that even the best ever is going to make this mistake, mental mistake. Granted, yep, everything's going on, but I was thinking the same thing. Why didn't somebody say, hey, wait a minute, Tiger, are you sure about this club selection? I don't know. Seems a little weird.
Hey, and they have an equipment manager there that gives him the club. Okay? I think he has a job to basically assess the shot. So he gave him the club too. So let's not forget about that. Like that dude's got one.
Do we have a conspiracy theory? Was Tiger handed the wrong weapon intentionally?
I'm not saying I hate conspiracy, but I'm
you
just
wearing
saying
the
that are they all afraid just to talk to Tiger because he's Tiger? I mean,
could be.
All right, B. Back to you and your guy.
Yeah, just cut him some slack. I like the Kisner, the cutting Kisner. That's a T-shirt. I'm always thinking T-shirts for the new platform, and we could cut Kisner. Like he could be the first trade in TGL history. He could be like, where in the world is Kisner?
Yeah. Maybe we'll have him and Ogletree together.
Below the line.
Yep.
Bunch of question marks. Where's Ogletree?
Celebrity death match. Ogletree versus Kisner.
Where's Ogletree / Kisner?
Oh, all right. But I did watch one thing when I was down in South Carolina. By the way, seeing the next future U.S. Open champion, probably 2040, I'm going to guess. Anyway, when was the timeout? They called the timeout on Wyndham Clark. When was that? Was that this week or last week?
Yeah, that was Monday.
Yeah,
Monday. Yeah.
I mean, gets up to your point, Andy. Just drops it.
Yeah, and again, like, can we talk about as weird as TGL is when you got Tiger and Kisner playing? The day before was phenomenal, like phenomenal. And I think the new hammer rules are great. That's definitely put a different kind of twist on the game and on the strategy of the game. But every one of those three matches on Monday was really, really good, really competitive, and came down to the end. Tommy Fleetwood in the playoff holes out from, 40 yards or 50 yards or whatever, however long the chip is. But I mean, it was awesome.
Good. There we go. That's all I got. That's all you got. Live report? Wait a minute. Where's my banner? There you go.
Little live golf report. So I actually, for the first time, watched the live telecast this weekend.
I'm going to admit it. I did as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was, you know why?
Yeah.
Part of it being not on
Research.
CW, and it was at night. So I turned it on, and I got to tell you, like, for me, the whole live thing in Australia is just way different. Like, the crowd was so into it. They were loving it. Like, it was very much a different feel than the events that are in other parts of the world.
But you know what? I actually turned to Andrew and said that. Have you noticed that when LIV has been in Australia, they've gotten great turnout?
Now, is that because of Greg, or is that because of
Cam Smith?
Just the overall lack of professional golf options there? And I think also when you start talking about the global appeal of LIV is way different than the U.S. appeal of LIV, because that kind of battling, kind of feature of the PGA Tour versus LIV is only really a thing here in the U.S. So I definitely was super not surprised, but impressed at how much the people were into what was going on there.
Well, is it because there's so many international players in LIV?
Yeah, it could be. Or I think they should just move to Australia permanently. They have more viewers over there than they do over here any day of the week. They have more viewers in that 1 week than they probably do in the entire calendar, literally season here in America.
Probably.
By far. And I don't think it's because of Greg. Because maybe it is because of Greg. I have no idea. But I think you have a lot of other talent over there that they're not used to having these professional golfers come over to Australia and play. That's now the second time they've been there. They've had great turnouts. That one hole, I forgot what par 3 it was or what number it was, but that's an incredible. It's kind of like replica of 16 here at the Waste Management. But that was a cool hole. I watched it last time they were in Australia, but I didn't watch any of it this year. So I think if they, to get the viewership, even to be comparable to what we have on the PGA, they should just go over there permanently.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too, because I think you've got a few things at play here. The Norman thing, and he might be chastised around the world in other parts, but he's a native son. And then you got Cam Smith. And did Australia start as a penal colony or something? Because I think the culture is kind of, embracing of like craziness.
It was an Irish penal colony.
There you go. Yeah. So, historically, I think they're going to look at, maybe embracing things that others don't. I mean, they're kind of wicked far out there,
Well, you got to look at, like, obviously in the last 5-10 years, Cam Smith has been that guy, right? Number one in the world, a lot of likable people, Australian golfer, right? So if anything, I think it has to do a lot with him over Greg, right? Just because the golf has changed so much, and there's so many up and coming younger golfers nowadays across the world. So you have to look at Cam Smith as being a big factor of that, or a big reason that LIV has gone there now twice. And I'm only going to assume they're going to continue to go there in the years to come. So I think looking at that aspect of it, I would have to lean more towards him and the reason that they have a great turnout.
B.E., interested in hearing your thoughts before I chime in.
I think it's the narrative that's written by the media wherever you're at, and that kind of drives it. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have opinions here in the U.S. about this whole LIV versus PGA Tour thing, and I'm actually getting slack when I cover PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, DP World Tour, and I've never said anything about LIV, and I'm getting slack from people that I don't do a recap of LIV or a preview of the LIV event. So I don't know. I'm going to throw that to you guys on should I cover that?
Don't waste your time.
Well, who's your audience? If you're getting slack for it, then maybe you should cover it, right? Because I think it's the dynamic has changed over time. Like from the beginning, the dynamic is way different than it is now, and I think that there's something to, certainly what they're doing out there, and like it or not, they're still a pretty large part of the overall professional golf landscape.
Yeah.
I can't wait to actually see what their TV numbers were for this last week.
Hey, BE, I think.
Have you seen them yet?
No.
It's got to be better than 12,000 because, I mean.
Oh, God, yeah.
They picked up Andy and I.
Yeah, but I was just listening on the way over here that the numbers, and I wasn't getting the total picture. I don't think the numbers were good. And again, you're talking about, 11 o'clock at night here in the U.S. So I'm not sure how good the viewership numbers could be.
But we reported because they had put out the note. Here's this crazy one that just kind of I scratch what little hair I have left. Didn't they put out a thing that says no more slack or shorts, and then yet everybody in Australia were wearing shorts?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Christian's got the ratings right here.
LIV Golf saw they saw an average of 114,000 viewers on the opening round on FS1.
There you go.
That still pales in comparison to TGL.
True.
Like pales in comparison.
But it's ESPN versus Fox.
It does boost a significant increase from last weekend of 19,000 when the season opener over in Saudi.
You're right, Brendan. It is ESPN versus Fox in its prime time versus, nightly news time.
Brendan, I think
for those people who remember that when the nightly news used to be on.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I think Brendan keeps reporting on that and does his best. Old Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes or Edward Morrow from way back when.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just stir that up and you start to get better. I don't know.
So can I also say in watching this, Alan, I'm interested in your viewpoint on this too. The shotgun sucks. It's terrible. It makes the whole telecast
terrible,
so much less enjoyable. I think the players are visibly just done with the whole music while they're playing, and they've tried way too hard to do things differently. The other thing I think sucks, and this is petty, the team names suck. They suck.
The team names are crazy.
Yeah.
You know what else?
Hang on here. I'm gonna let me. None of these. You're telling me that none of these are as iconic as the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Bears. Legion 13, Fireballs, Ironheads.
It's terrible. It's like comic book shit.
I'm gonna actually say this one. If anyone has a little street cred, Range Goats.
Yes,
I can work with that one.
Nope.
I'm reaching the Crushers, the High Flyers spelled incorrectly.
It's comic book shit. It's literally comic book shit.
It is without question.
I don't get it.
And here I'm bringing stats also, Christian. So here I told Andy. Andy's always putting people on the hot seat. I'm going to ask Christian the question since you two pretty podcasters are together, and then I'm going to ask Andy the more difficult question. Christian, can you name the team that has the youngest average team age?
The Crushers. I have no idea. I've watched maybe 5 minutes of LIV Golf ever.
No, the Crushers are the second oldest team.
Oh, great. That shows you my knowledge of LIV Golf.
Legion 13 averaged 26.6 0.25 years of age.
Can you name me the players on that team, please?
Yes, John Rahm.
You know, John Rahm just fell out of the top 50 in the world. So
first time in like 7 years he's dropped out of the
But he's got a big fat paycheck right now. So
then
he's
this other Spanish kid who's like 20 is on that team.
Well, he also picked up the kid from Northern Ireland we were talking about, who, by the way, Andy, does like the music.
He does what?
He likes the music. Likes how they were having a halftime intermission on the fourth tee.
Good for Tom.
Because he's a bro.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. And so you asked me my opinion, and then I'll put you in the hot spot. My opinion is simply this, that it is 110%. And look, they're the future of the game, which scares me in some respects, but it is completely oriented towards the bros. But my question is not TGL in a different way? DE?
No, I just don't see it. Like, the purpose of it is different. And I think that's what makes people so jaded, is the purpose behind all this. Like, TGL is not trying to be all that serious. It's I don't know. It's just not the same.
Christian.
Look, I know a lot of young 30-year-old golf snobs that can't stand golf bros either. So it's not just old people like us. It's not just old people like us that are offended by the golf bros. I think younger guys who are really into the game are also offended by the golf bros.
Bobby, is LIV Golf Bro Central?
Yeah, I would say more so. Yeah, that's that audience they're trying to get to, or the people that are anti-establishment to the PGA Tour. I can see that. I mean, but with them trying to say grow the game, that's silliness. Obviously, right there. I was going to say, to Andy's point earlier, I think one of the critical things missing that they don't talk about with the play of LIV is when you do the shotgun start. If you start on hole 7, you're going to hit the halfway house way too early. It just throws off the timing everywhere. I mean, we've all been there. So that is just...
Now would be the appropriate time to throw that up there.
Right? I mean...
So in this glass, that's a Q Mixer's Hibiscus Ginger Beer in Woodford. One of the best Kentucky mules you'll ever have.
I may have to go get my Woodford, and I have that Q Mixer in my house. I'll do a little bartending right here.
It's really good. I'm not hardcore like my buddy over here who drinks it straight up.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
I got you, Bourbon Bob.
All right, Andy. My semi-hot seat for you. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to call this the Dirty Dozen. Ready? Yeah. Can you name the only 12 players that have appeared in every LIV event? And it's 12 of them.
Okay, Sergio.
Yes. I should
Lee
probably
Westwood.
get a pen. Hang on, I should probably get a pen. Go. Okay, keep going. Yep.
Henrik Stenson.
Nope.
Phil Mickelson.
Nope.
Wow.
TJ.
Dustin Johnson.
Correct.
Bryson.
And I offer this because this goes to your point about just forgotten. They just fade away.
They do. So let's end my answers right there. Why don't you tell us who the rest are?
Richard Bland.
Of course.
Who?
Obviously. Christian's buddy, his favorite.
I just said him a second ago.
Taylor Gooch.
Oh,
The Gooch.
not that one.
Gooch.
Forgot about him too.
Brendan Grace.
Forgot about him too.
Matt Jones.
Wow.
Ooh.
Walk it in, nah.
Yep.
Oh.
Louis Houston.
Say that again.
Walk it in.
Walk it in.
Louis.
Ian Poulter.
Oh, wow.
He's
Carl
still
Schwartzel.
Yeah.
And Bobby, can you guess the last one?
Lee Westwood.
Charles Howell.
You already said that one. Peter Uihlein.
Oh.
The Dirty Dozen. The only 12 players. By the way, BE, I did not, and I repeat, did not, sadly, mention Andy Ogletree.
Hey, who won the first LIV event?
I have no idea.
Old Tom Moore.
He was one of those 12. Yeah, old Tom Morris. He was one of those 12 players from South Africa.
Schwartzel won it.
Schwartzel won it.
You know what the sad part is that all those guys that you just named off, we literally all had the same reaction to that because we haven't heard their names in years.
Exactly.
Anywhere.
No,
right?
and
like anywhere. That's the problem. Even the top name guys, like who always Poulter, like
Sergio, major champion. DJ, obviously major champion. Lustesen, champion. Schwartzel, right?
Yep.
Did Westwood win one?
No.
No, that's right. He was the greatest that never won one.
Right.
He and Poulter, though. I mean, there's some stout names on here.
Done. But LIV is trying to change. The last thing on LIV for me is that I don't know. I know BE will know this one, but there's like a YouTube golfer now that's solely focusing on LIV golf content. His name is Rick Shields, and he is like big in promoting it. And I was shocked to hear that news personally. I used to watch all of his videos and stuff, right? And I don't think even watching his videos now of like being in the ropes of LIV, it's just something different. It's like, I don't think his content is as good since going over there, if I'm being honest. But I think his ratings are going to go only down because, again, look at the players that are on LIV. The biggest name is Bryson by far. Nobody, I would even say he has a huge lead over like a John Rahm or anybody else. These guys have been irrelevant for years, and it's showing, obviously, when you see him in the major championships outside of Bryson, for that matter. I mean, Bryson's the only one, Brooks too, obviously, that you can look at and say, okay, maybe 3 guys on LIV can win it. You think Taylor Gooch is going to, even – I forgot he even – who?
They were all whining about Taylor Gooch last year, that he wasn't getting invited to majors. And now he finishes in the top – or in the bottom 25% of LIV events.
You take Alan DePew and also Taylor Gooch on 10 at Riviera and give Alan a 6-iron off on a second shot and give Gooch a pitching wedge. I'm taking Papa Dukes all day long.
That's because he's going to make that.
Because I know that
I'm going to make that 30-footer from off the fringe.
Yeah. So here's the other thing. Here's the other thing about LIV that does bother me, and it bothered me when he left. Joaquin Niemann won this week. Mm-hmm. He was such a good, promising young player when he left, and I understand why he left. He's from Chile, and it's hard to be living in the U.S. when you don't really speak English, and so I get all that. But I do think that he could have been a really good PGA Tour player, and now he's just a guy who won a LIV event that nobody will ever remember that he won the event.
If you look at any guy right now that's on LIV, I've said this from day one. I don't blame any of them for taking the money and going over there. Okay, and you can even see it in a documentary on Netflix with Brooks Koepka, for example. He regrets it. He will never say it on camera, but I guarantee you, he's having conversations with people that are still on tour that he regrets leaving. Okay, but I will also say all these guys have just gone irrelevant, and that sucks because you had DJ who was a multiple major championship winner, right? You have Phil Mickelson, obviously multiple championship winner. We haven't heard anything from them in years, right? And they just don't care anymore about golf. I'm just gonna say it as it is. These guys don't care at all. They took it for the money, and they're also not. Their games have substantially gotten worse ever since going on LIV.
I'm watching the clock here. We're gonna run out of time a little bit, but I got to work this in because we asked a question ahead of time. Bobby, starting with you, give me 3 of the names you miss.
I miss Bryson, Cam Smith, Rahm.
B.
Harold Varner, Rahm, probably Cam.
Christian?
I miss Patrick Reed. Totally kidding. I never thought I'd say this, but I do miss Bryson on a weekly basis.
Yeah, Bryson. Yeah.
Yeah, I do miss John Rahm, and I was a big fan of Cam Smith, so I do miss Cam Smith.
Andy?
I miss Bryson, Rahm, and Brooks. Those three guys should be competing on the PGA Tour.
And I would say Bryson, Brooksy, and like you, Christian, I think the golf world was cheated of Cam Smith because I think he had so much talent, so much opportunity. And of
100%.
course, obviously, Ogletree.
I think we can all agree, though.
Don't be that guy.
Okay, don't be that guy. So this is not a political show by any stretch. But I got to tell you, there's people who I see day after day, and there's one that I've seen pretty active in the past couple weeks on social media. He's a really successful golf coach. He's taught tour players. He's in that whole community. Brendan may or may not know who I'm talking about, but he's gone totally political with his postings, and he's pretty much lost half of his audience because he's just, being very polar in what he's saying. And I just don't understand for the life of me why anybody, whether it's for business reasons or even personal reasons, why you would continually on social media alienate half of the people that you know. I just think that's such a don't be that guy.
Amen.
You lose half your customers right out of the gate. We'll just say it that way.
Yeah.
All right. We approach the final green. Where's my little 18th hole? There it is. Christian, to you first.
So for me, final thoughts simply are, with 2025, in my opinion, has gotten off to a very rocky start with a lot of things with like aviation and also some stuff that's been happening personal. All they have to say is just like continue to check in on some people that you love, because life can change like that. And whether it's a simple text, phone call, an email, however you communicate with people, it's just like continue to reach out to them, let them know that like they're loved and that you care for them if you choose to say that. But there's been a lot of things that have been happening personally, and again, just continue to reach out to people and let them know that you care about them and they're not alone.
Our historical scholar, Boston Bob.
Yes, well, I'm going to follow that one right up with a dinner conversation tonight, talking about history. I learned that Shakespeare possibly did not write all of his Shakespearean works. There's some, how about that? We're going wicked far back beyond the beginning of golf here, I know. But just, learning is great. I love to learn, I love to read. And dinner conversations are great. You never know what you're going to talk about. But some of our friends were over for dinner tonight. So our friend Gloria shares with me this literary bombshell, which was interesting. So, but there's a lot of facts behind it as far as what they found or didn't find at his house and so on and so forth. So I thought I wanted to share something a little bit non-golf, but Brendan's a writer. We've, I know now Brendan writes all his stuff. So that's just unequivocal there, but just sharing a little bit, something different.
I like it. BE.
Two things.
Resident Shakespeare.
Yeah.
First thing, ladies and gentlemen, Don't Be That Guy is now incorporated in the state of Florida. We are an official business. Let's get a round of applause for that. Doing business
Don't Be That Guy Media.
Quiet, please. Yes, Don't Be That Guy Media. So things are looking good for the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be on the old telly here pretty soon.
Big announcement coming. Big announcement coming.
Yep. And I think I'll just leave it at that.
Well said. Andy Hydorn.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about something that's happened at our club. it's half joking, but it's half serious. There's been the formation of the Gentlemen's Putting Society at Champions Golf Club, and I think I might have mentioned this before, but
can I join?
think it's such you can join. It's such a cool thing to be able to meet up with your friends at the putting green at night during the week. There's a specific game that we play. It's got rules. It can accommodate singles, doubles, threesomes, foursomes. It's just such an awesome thing. And putting is something that people just don't practice enough. It's too easy to be practicing the other things. I'm probably the biggest offender of that rule. So now that we started this Gentlemen's Putting Society, it's just been awesome. And the camaraderie is great. The game is great. The putting practice is great. And it's just the lost art of golf, I think, is what happens on the putting green.
Hey, Andy, can I open a franchise at the Woodford Club? I love that.
You absolutely can. But it's as we were thinking about it, it is a little bit sexist being the Gentlemen's Putting Society, but be what it may.
All right, real quick, running close to time. I'm just going to say, not to be political, Andy, but is it pronounced Kaya Trump or Kia Trump? Kaya Trump? Kai Trump, Charlie Woods junior tournament event. I don't care how juniors get publicity. I love it. I think it's great. I wish them both luck when they're both teeing it up soon. That concludes this week's episode of Quiet Please. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember, please subscribe, leave a review. Join us next week for Boston Bob, Brendan Elliott, and dual pretty podcasters in Houston. Be safe tonight, boys.
Gary Young next week.
Will do. Yes, Gary Young, rules official, PGA Tour, will be joining us next week.
You only have one opportunity to sell your golf property. Shouldn't you partner with an expert that offers you 30-plus years of golf industry experience, combined with the reach of a global leader in real estate? Colliers International Golf Brokerage and Advisory Services understands your unique business needs. Whether it is brokerage, management, and consulting, be reassured that the market leader in the business of golf is providing you the real answers and practical solutions you deserve. Contact Golf Talk Live co-host and Colliers Golf Advisory Services member Alan Depew today at 717-554-8519. That's 717-554-8519.